Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from Delta CX. We're a full service CX and UX consultancy. Check us out if you have a spare minute. And welcome to episode 143. This is based on my article called Real Lean and Nouveau Fake Lean Are Opposites. I'd like to talk more about lean. We throw the word around all the time, and very often people mean it to mean less. We're skimping on things. We're doing less. We're running faster, but that's actually not the original definition of it, and I'd like people to know more about what that is. So we are going to be going through my Medium article, and if you are watching live, I would love to get your comments, questions, feedback as I'm going. I'll be watching the YouTube chat, the LinkedIn chat, not the tweets today. Sorry, Twitter. Let me get my windows ready, and then we will flip over and we'll jump right into the article. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so here's me, the optional tip jar, the chat room, and the article. Or is it over here? So let's take a look at this. If this article interests you and you'd like to pass it on to someone you love, you can just Google for real lean, fake lean, Levitt, medium, something like that. It'll pop up because, they always have these weird numbers at the end, so it's hard to remember. So I wrote this article just about 10 days ago. It is fresh, and it goes like this. In the wake of my controversial for some, relief for others article about the Lean Startup book, let's look more at what Lean was and is. Agreeing with me is optional. Using your critical thinking is mandatory. And by the way, we did the Lean Startup article a few weeks ago, so check back in the podcasts playlist if you want to hear that one. What is Lean? The original Lean was created by Toyota. Lean manufacturing was aimed at increasing efficiency and reducing waste. Waste included inventory you might not use soon, building significantly more items than there is demand, and then having to store them or handle them. This led to Toyota using more of a just-in-time approach back in the day when they were inventing Lean. Inefficiencies in workers' steps or processes, and the production of defective items and the defective items themselves. Toyota identified 7 types of waste: transportation, inventory, motion, waiting, overproduction, overprocessing, and defects. They later added non-utilized or underutilized talent as an 8th type of waste. If you work in UX, underutilized talent is the story of your career. Originally, Lean was about identifying and reducing waste to save time, money, mistakes, and defects. This will be important to remember when we shift into what Nouveau Fake Lean seems to be about. Lean evolved. In the 1980s, Six Sigma emerged. The concept here was, how can you get your manufacturing defects down to as close to 0 as possible? This would require companies to improve people, processes, and equipment so that what rolled off factory lines was more consistent and high quality. In the 1990s, James Womack and Daniel Jones are credited with Lean Enterprise, which borrowed from Toyota's Lean and Six Sigma. Lean Enterprise has 5 key principles. Value. Understand clearly what value the customer wants for the product or service. Value stream, the entire flow of a product's or service's life cycle. In other words, from raw materials, production of the product or service, customer delivery, customer use, and final disposal. Flow, keep the value stream moving. If it's not moving, it's creating waste and less value for the customer. Pull, do not make anything until the customer orders it. Perfection. Systematically and continuously remove root causes of poor quality from production processes. Lean plus Six Sigma equals Lean Six Sigma. Yep, Lean Six Sigma is a thing. You can read books, take courses, get certifications, etc. I'm halfway through a Lean Six Sigma, LSS, Green Belt course, and there's a lot I like about it. I felt in some places it was over-analyzing and over-documenting, but in many cases I was learning about things I wished companies did. Depending upon who you read, there are 5 to 7 key principles of Lean Six Sigma. I've boiled them down to 4. 1. Focus on customer value. Lean Six Sigma and Agile say that our highest priority is customer satisfaction. We must understand what value is to customers and users and put processes in place that ensure we are continuously delivering value as the user defines value, not as a stakeholder defines it. Create maps, artifacts, and living documents so that everybody involved has the same knowledge about our current and potential customers or users. 2. Find and focus on problems and root causes. It might be wasteful to guess at problems or only focus on symptoms. Excuse me, I've been talking all day. It might be wasteful to guess at problems or only focus on symptoms when there is a larger root cause we should have found. Make sure we have involved and researched the right internal and external people so that we have learned about the problem from all angles. Maps, artifacts, and living documents related to root causes will help get everybody on the same page about where we have room for improvement or opportunities to do something special, new, disruptive, or innovative. Sorry, just making a note. My article's missing a word. Editing. 3. Cut the waste. This step is often written as remove variations and bottlenecks or remove non-value added steps. If you understand what will be valuable for target customers and you've identified root causes that might block or slow delivering that value, it's time to change people, processes, products, services, or systems so that we can reduce or cut wasteful steps, approaches, or projects. 4. Involve, empower, and communicate. Give relevant leaders and staff the power to make the changes that we need to make. Communicate the change process so that everybody is on board and knows what to do. Let's talk about Lean Six Sigma's DMAIC. I know some people pronounce that DMAIC and DMADV. I'm not sure how you'd pronounce that. DMADV? I don't know, but I've heard DMAIC said before. Lean Six Sigma's model for improving something that exists is DMAIC. Define, measure, analyze, improve, control. A variation for new products is DMADV. Again, I don't know how people say that. It's ending with design and verify instead of improve and control. Both of these start with D for define, which includes research. This is a learn first and verify what you learned model. This is a slide I use to remind everybody that any model that looks like 5 easy steps is not necessarily easy. Lean Six Sigma has a lot built into each phase. So if you're not looking at the screen, it's just a list of tasks, documents, and artifacts one might make for each step of Lean Six Sigma's phases. There are probably 20 bullet points for each of the 5 phases. How is Nouveau fake lean the opposite? We hear lean thrown around a lot. Lean startup, lean UX, lean everything. And I have a picture of book covers from O'Reilly that say lean startup, running lean, lean analytics, lean enterprise, lean UX, lean customer development, lean AI, leading lean, UX for lean startups, and lean branding. Lots of O'Reilly books on lean since 2011. I think people pick these up because they see lean and they believe this will deliver lower effort, higher efficiency, and more ROI. But do they? It probably depends on how you interpret and implement the ideas. I have found in these contexts, Nouveau Lean doesn't look or sound at all like Original Lean or Lean Six Sigma. I've got a picture here that says lean blank is the least amount of blank you can do to move the project forward. And that's a typical modern perception of lean. It's the least you can do to move a project forward. But is that really lean? Let's imagine what traditional Lean or Lean Six Sigma might say about common Nouveau Lean catchphrases. Fail fast. I think Lean Six Sigma would be cool with this as long as the failure happened behind the scenes and was not experienced by the public. Lean Six Sigma is about improving customer satisfaction and reducing defects. It wouldn't want real live users to have to struggle with a failure. It wouldn't want us to roll out something potentially defective to paying audiences. That would be waste we should have cut. Just ship it. Lean Six Sigma includes a lot of analysis and measurement before you build or pilot anything. Between that and reducing defects and waste, Lean Six Sigma would probably not want you to just ship anything that is likely to be defective or wasteful. Yeah, Abby says lean responsibility. Another phrase you'll hear a lot is, if you're not embarrassed by your product, you waited too long to ship. There are many steps and artifacts in Lean Six Sigma. You would spend plenty of time researching customers, defining and analyzing problems and root causes, verifying these, and working to ensure that whatever you ship has real value to customers. I can't imagine that a model aimed at reducing wastes and defects while improving customer value and satisfaction would want companies embarrassed by what rolls off a factory line or software process. Build, measure, learn feedback loop is at the core of the Lean startup model. Lean Six Sigma is a learn first model. Nouveau Lean wants you to try building your idea first, possibly without any research first. Sure, some people will research first, but when the model starts with build, it's not a given or guarantee that learning will come first. The lesson of the MVP is that any additional work beyond what was required to start learning is waste, no matter how important it might have seemed at the time. End quote. I can imagine Lean Six Sigma agreeing, but if the first learning comes after time spent on the concept, value proposition, design, engineering, etc., that might have all been waste because we didn't do a better job upfront learning what a better direction might have been. If extra work beyond what you need to start learning is waste, then the MVP is waste if we didn't research and learn first and use those insights to guide our MVP? That was a question, sorry. If extra work beyond what you needed to start learning is waste, then is the MVP waste if we didn't research and learn first and use those insights to guide our MVP? Okay, got it. A couple of more quotes you tend to hear. Done is better than perfect. Not in Lean Six Sigma. Six Sigma wants you to get as close to perfect, defect-free, processes and products as possible. Done is better than perfect sounds cool for people who don't want to take the time to do things better. But where in our day-to-day lives do we accept done over perfect? Is a 5% defect rate on parachutes okay? Do we want surgery done or perfect? Done is okay when we have low, just ship it standards, like our code is functioning. But once we care more about customer value, we have to raise those standards. Lean is the least you can do to move a project forward. Oh, surely not. Nouveau Lean says do the least you can. Lean Six Sigma says do the best you can, efficiently, even if getting there takes time, money, and teams. Cycles of MVPs could be producing a lot of lean waste. If you are going in the wrong direction with hypotheses and guesses, you spent time, money, and public trust on waste. Traditional lean would be looking for the root causes of releasing something defective that had little or no customer value. This is overproduction. You built something, it turns out you didn't need to have built. Learning early that it's a failure is good, but traditional lean would ask if you could have learned even earlier to have saved any waste. We all know startups that got it right the first time, but we know many more startups that died after their MVP. I've seen a good number of startups release more than one MVP and or pivot more than once. I always saw this as an opportunity, I always saw this as a company that didn't understand their audiences, the market opportunity, or both. We have lots of books and training that glorify this, so startups keep doing this. But I would still suggest lots of learning before the hypothesis, before building or shipping or learning because the product is live. But Deb, Lean Six Sigma includes hypothesis testing and experimenting with potential solutions. Wouldn't Lean Startup and MVP and other things match there? They could. But then one definition of lean doesn't replace the other. One definition of lean might fit into a sliver of the other. If we're starting with build or hypothesis testing or piloting solutions, then we skipped more than half of DMAIC. We skipped all of define, all of measure, and most of analyze. I'm not saying Lean Six Sigma is only good if every possible step and document is produced. I can see how for some industries or products, there are some things that could be skippable. But there's also a lot of good stuff in there many people don't know about because they thought Lean was the least you could do. If you're noticing that Nouveau Lean starts in the middle of traditional Lean or Lean Six Sigma, then you can see why I call it fake lean. It's fake lean, everybody. From the above bullet points, you can see how some of the common fake lean catchphrases run against what Lean Six Sigma teaches. You don't have to agree, but with critical thinking, perhaps you can see how someone stripped Nouveau Lean and Lean Six Sigma down too far. Nouveau fake lean isn't lean. It's malnutrition. I'm sticking with traditional lean as my North Star, even if I'm not using every Lean Six Sigma step or document. And that's it. That is the article. Let's see if I can go back to a big picture of me without setting off my theme song. Anybody have thoughts or questions on Nouveau Lean versus old traditional lean? Again, I'm not the world's foremost expert on this, but I've read a few things and I've put a few things into play, and I would love to talk about this. Thoughts, questions? I mean, if not, we will wrap it up. Thoughts, questions? I see we do have a handful of people joining live. I'd be happy to hear your comments or hear your questions. I think YouTube is about 40 seconds or a minute behind today, so I'm going to stall a little bit to see if people have comments. Larry says, my perception of lean is faking the problem definition process and merely solving the symptoms. Larry, that would definitely be Nouveau Lean. Original Lean would not want you to do that. No, no, no. And that's pretty much what the article I just read covers. And I agree with you too. I think that is the wrong way to go. We can't just examine symptoms or solve symptoms or talk about symptoms. We have to get at those root causes. And if you start studying some Lean Six Sigma, Larry, if you haven't studied Lean Six Sigma, put that on your list of things you think people should know about that are kind of outside of UX. I'm almost halfway through a course, a Green Belt Lean Six Sigma course, and there's a lot I like about it and a lot I wish companies did. Of course, it requires more planning and research and analysis that companies don't want to do because they think moving fast is cool. They think breaking it and fixing it in front of the public and showing them how the sausage is made is cool. But it's so, so wasteful. So, so wasteful. I can't imagine how many millions of dollars are wasted each year. Billions, probably. So, yeah. Thanks, Larry. Good to see you here. That reminds me, did we schedule our show? Yes? No? Larry says, you just answered my question. What is Nouveau Lean? I joined late. Yeah, so Larry, basically I did the history of Lean into Lean Six Sigma, and I talked about how the Lean most of us hear about now, from Lean Startup, Lean UX, Lean Enterprise, Lean whatever, doesn't match at all the original definition and point of lean, and they're actually opposites. That's the wacky part. It's one of those times where a word can mean completely opposite things. I forgot to schedule with you. All right, I'll put that on my to-do list for tonight. Larry, and also Dr. Giles. Yeah, so Larry, you're going to have to go back and watch the rest of it or read my article. Sorry about that. I'm not going to read it again. We just read it. Only took about 15 minutes. Hey, Ray, good to see you here. Ray says, any tips for getting people to realize that they're doing opposite lean and not real lean? And I don't know if my boyfriend's watching, but we've got Russian porn spam being posted. So nobody please copy and paste that link into a browser. I really don't know why they think we'll fall for that. So, Ray, I think in general, people might not care, but I think one way that we can try to bring in traditional lean is to find things, articles, books, things that say lean, but are actually talking about the other lean. And just to try to bring those in. So whether that's something out of Lean Six Sigma, like for example, if you've ever seen any of my shows where I talked about a slide that says the cost of poor quality, I love that slide. I show that slide in like every talk I do. And it's a great list of internal and external costs that you will face when you deliver poor quality. Now, of course, they're thinking on the manufacturing level, but it's true for us in software as well. That comes out of Lean Six Sigma. So I think that studying a little Lean Six Sigma, even though in parts it is a little tedious, but I think finding some of these books and articles and references around original lean and saying, hey, I'm learning more about lean. Check this out. Check out this cost of poor quality. Check out this whole idea of the Six Sigmas, the idea that we're moving towards perfection because perfection is what our customers want, if not expect. Our customers don't want us to be 40% good. Our customers don't want us to be even 90% good. Our customers want us to be 99.99% good. You know, we see these numbers when companies talk about uptime. You know, our servers almost never go down. We have 99.993% uptime. They're really thinking in terms of those Six Sigmas, which lead to the least defects possible. Oh, let me get some of our comments up on the screen. Ray says, I encounter people that read one or two fake lean articles and speak the talking points. And when you talk real lean back, it's hard because there's already that bias. Thanks. I'll dig into Six Sigma. Yeah, there is that bias. And I think we have to ask ourselves, you know, what is the definition of lean? And I think you can maybe ask people why. You know, when they say, hey, look, I just want to rush out the fastest product we can. I always like to say, and will our customers give that product 5 stars out of 5? And usually someone goes, nah, I don't know. And then the next thing they say is usually either we'll fix it later or they'll figure it out. Or Larry, I know, is going to jump in with, we'll fix it in training. You know, we'll put up tooltips and tutorials and we'll train people. Those are typically excuses. And typically I find some gentle way to say to someone, those are excuses for when we're not going to put out a 5-star product. And if you don't want to put out a 5-star product, I guess you don't have to. But it's sad that we know ahead of time that this isn't a 5-star product and we're going to do it anyway. So I'd like to add that to our risk register. Now, on almost every show, I say risk register. It's nearly a drinking game at this point, though I recommend lemonade and not alcohol, but that's just me. Or exceedingly watered down lemonade because I'm cheap. But I think that it's important to find gentle but compelling ways to counter people when they say these things. They'll figure it out. Do you like when a system is difficult to use and you have to figure it out? No, you want to throw your computer out the window. Feel free to not wait for their answer on that. Feel free to jump right in and answer it for them. It's a trick and it's a manipulation, but you know, sometimes it can be compelling. So, you know, those are the things I do. You know, I'm just going to keep bringing people back to, would our customers give this 5 stars out of 5? Will you be surprised if this gets a 1-star rating? Is this a 5-star out of 5 app system feature? If not, what are we doing? We're going to burn time and money figuring out later where it wasn't right, your root causes, and what we need to do. This is wasteful. This is time and cost we know we're going to have later. I can't believe we're going to go ahead with this when we know we have this. Larry says, a common mistake companies make is to believe that the early adoption sales figures are sustainable. They never read Crossing the Chasm. Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. Sometimes you get lots of early sales, and then, of course, there's that curve, or it flattens out a bit as the early adopters have already bought it. Ray says, I hear a lot of stakeholders say we will learn after we launch, fail fast. And I ask why? Why when we can learn before we fail? Look, you can always send them my article. You may or may not want to send them the video version since now we're talking to you about these people. Yeah, Larry says fail fast. I never understood why companies plan to fail fast and or fail at all. And I would say that to them. I would say, why do we want to fail fast where the public can see this, where the media can see us, where our competitors can see us? If you're publicly traded, where stock traders and investors can see us. Why do we want to fail in ways that can be publicly experienced, screenshot, archived, talked about forever? You know, go ahead, put that in the risk register. The risk register is that our stakeholders would like us to fail fast, or our stakeholders are okay with us failing. And then also ask them how fast is fast, because very often the fail fast plan means releasing it, and weeks or months later, marketing runs a survey, or customer service comes back and says, by the way, we're getting a lot of complaints. Sometimes failing fast is not fast at all. So I challenge people on this. Ray says, fail fast feels like a fake lean demon that's everywhere now. Yeah, it is. And I fight it every time. As soon as people go, well, we should fail fast. And I go, oh, I'm sorry. Are you two guys in a garage in Palo Alto? We are a publicly traded company, or we're a giant healthcare conglomerate, or, insert outraged sentence here. Try to remove the outrage. Larry says it takes just as much effort to get it right than it took for them to get it wrong. I would say it takes less effort to get it right because, again, if you put up Lean Six Sigma's costs of poor quality, everybody Google it, or look back at my old slides, there are so many costs of poor quality, even when it's just a digital product. Okay, we may not have the physical waste of a physically defective physical item, but we are still going to have all kinds of internal and external costs, customer trust, worker morale, budgets, timing. It's endless. It's a huge list. Abi says, Lean is promoted to create functional application first, then have enhancements, backlog, new features, refinement. Then it focuses on a theme, accessibility to fail fast. Yeah, and again, I know that people do these things. I know that's the suggested process, and I believe it is the wrong way to go. Remember that a lot of this fake Lean started with the Lean Startup, which was from 2011. See my other article and video on that. And the problem is that someone came up with some paradigms that they thought would be great for startups, not for the companies you and I tend to work at. And they figured, hey, look, companies who are startups shouldn't waste too much time overbuilding. Don't put out too much stuff out there. Just run with something small that you think is a good idea and see how people react to it. But of course, that means they know nothing about user-centered design, and that we could be finding that out for them before engineers burn time on code. Larry says, tell me if you've heard this one before. If you don't accurately define the problem, the best you can hope to do is solve the wrong problem very well. I have heard that one before because I've been talking to Larry for 3 or 4 years now, and it's a fantastic Larry-ism. So it's a good reminder, but again, I think that it's so smart that a lot of people will still miss what you're saying because they'll hear solve problem very well and go, yes, we're pretty good at this. And I think, yeah, we're so good at this. We solve the wrong problem very well and fast. Larry says, right, if you don't have time to get it right for the first time, what makes you think you'll have time to do it again? Yeah, Ray says the fix is later. When is later? Usually never. I say that in my slides also. We're going to fail fast and fix it later. When is later? Sometimes it's never. And Agile says if you want to be agile, ooh, the moon is pretty. You'll all see it later. If you want to be agile, you will have to, when you get feedback from customers that shows you need a fix or a change or whatever, you're supposed to get to that work within a month. And if you're not, you're not agile. Because remember, agile is supposed to be about, whoa, we're fast, we're nimble, we can release software in a reproducible, reliable cadence. And if you are waiting months to give people that fix, that you failed fast and now they need a fix, they're supposed to get that within a month. But I would say, why did they get that at all? And I sometimes tell people like, hey, let's be selfish for a moment. How do you feel when a company releases something that you find hard to use, difficult to use, didn't match your needs? Oh, well, I'll figure it out. And I say, look, as soon as we're making excuses, we've got a problem. These are excuses. These aren't triumphs. This isn't celebratory language. These are excuses. And if we're going to make excuses and set ourselves up for small or large failures or glorify failure, let's get that in the risk register. I want it to be noted that we have a risk to this project. The risk is our stakeholder or PM or project manager or BA says, yeah, it's cool if we fail in the public eye. That's fine. Larry says, what are the most common replies you've heard from clients when you decry failing fast? The number one thing I hear so far is, but our competitor is fast. We can't slow down to make a better product. Our competitor is fast, and we're starting to, or we're already losing people to them. So they think that they're competing on speed. And I say, look, it's great that your competitor is fast or efficient, but I'm guessing that if you're losing customers to them, it's probably because your competitor is good. It's one thing to be fast, but it's totally different thing to be good. And I would think if people are leaving your company for theirs, it's probably because they're offering something better. If they're creating absolute crap, garbage, awful, buggy, hard to use product, but they get it out fast, people wouldn't leave you for them, right? You'd be the better company. So I don't think you really compete on speed as much as you think. I think you compete on quality, and speed's important, but I think you compete on quality, and I bet your competitor is beating you because their product is better. And there's usually silence after that. Hey, Michael, good to see you. I'm against fail fast. Fail forward to learn. Either way, fail internally using UX prototypes when the public is not seeing it. Oh, wow, Craig is here. Yay. Ray says, how do you effectively document risks? Craig says, paddling faster doesn't get you out of the mangrove swamp. Having a compass does. Also very true. Good to see you, Craig. And I owe you the lobster dinner. Yeah, Ray says, how do you effectively document risks? Look, I am not an expert on risk documentation. However, that is a project manager's job, or whoever is acting as the project manager, which at some company is the product manager. But you are supposed to have risk documentation, risk register. This is about identifying risks. And those risks, I've got in episode 1, who remembers, 115, everybody drink. I think episode 115, I offered a risk mitigation workshop to help your teammates identify risk. That's in episode 115. I don't remember what episode has the bad actor workshop, but I wonder if you go to YouTube and search Delta CX bad actor workshop, if it'll come up. It's in my book. If you have my book in the Kindle version, search bad actor. But yeah, drinking ginger ale. Hey Grace, thank you for the sweet comment. I'm a star. I'm always providing a space to chat about aspects of you can see. Thank you, star. Thank you. Risk documentation is not something I invented. This is easily Googleable and something teams should do. And the idea is that if you identify risks early, then you can create some sort of plan to mitigate those risks, either by changing what you're doing now so that the risk can't happen, or if you're not going to change what you're doing now, then you have a plan for what happens if that risk actually happens or looks like it's about to happen. Yeah, I have a story around that, but it's not a pretty story. But I know some people like my not pretty stories. So here we go. Many years ago, I was consulting with a customer who had a brick and mortar store, and I'd been spending a lot of time in his store looking at how his employees operate. And I found that for the most part, the men were sexually harassing the women. And I found that the owner of the store was sexually harassing the women. And I found that the women were just putting up with it. And though they hated it, nobody liked it. And this was 22 years ago. This is not a fresh story. I went to the guy and I said, look, you're running a lot of risk here. These terrible behaviors are not only terrible and morally and ethically wrong and creating a negative work environment, but you could be sued. And I would welcome you being sued because this is a terrible environment. I had been harassed as well, but I had a pretty good comeback line for the guy because he happened to be a born-again Christian, and I had a few things to say about how his behavior and his beliefs didn't match up, and then his behavior stopped. I said to the guy, look, you're either going to have to clean up your behavior and model better behavior and make sure the men stop doing this, or you're just going to have to get insurance because you're probably going to get sued. And he said, I guess I'll look into insurance. You can't make it up. Larry says, I reviewed a site and listed 160 failures and their potential effects. Clients said they didn't have time to fix them. They called me back 6 months later when the site failed, just like I said it would. Yeah, look, you know, Abby says, oh my God, I know. Yeah, Larry, you and I have stories like this. I'm sure Craig has 2,000 billion million stories like this. And I think in the type of work that we do, we see this a lot. We see people who think that we are not good at telling the future. We're not good at possible outcomes. We don't see what's coming. I always joke, I don't know why anybody bets against me at this point. But what can I say? I do what I can. And no, I don't know how that story ended for the shop owner. We did cut ties soon after that. He liked to call me on a Saturday night with all kinds of stupid questions, and he would always start the call with, I know I'm your worst client. And finally, I would say, you are. I think you should hire somebody else because we're going to leave. So yeah, I don't know whatever happened to him. I don't even know if he's alive. I don't wish poorly on him, but I sure hope the behavior at the workplace got cleaned up. Tony says, hi, Debbie, love your channel. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for coming by. Hey, everybody, remember, not only should you subscribe here on the YouTube channel, but if you're having fun here, won't you please find 3 people who you think would be interested in this channel and ask them to check it out. We donate all of our YouTube ad revenue to charity, so I'm not looking for more subscribers for the money. I am looking for it to spread messages and help more people. So send that message around, and if you have any questions about the stream, they are mostly answered here at deltacx.com/links. That will answer most of your questions because I can predict your questions. Where's my little... Yep. Craig says, LOL. I check some high traffic sites in audits and they are littered with device, viewport, and accessibility problems that are damned obvious. JFDI. Yeah, I don't want to say F, but yeah, just freaking do it. Just fix this stuff. It's amazing. It's amazing, especially when you're bringing in, let's just say, well-paid, smart people like Larry and Craig. Like, listen to them. Tony says, I have shared your videos to 3 Pillar Global. Our UX team has learned a lot from you. Yay! That makes me happy to hear. Thank you so much. Larry says, do you have stories about companies who listened and followed your advice to get it right the first time? Companies that followed my advice to get it right the first time. Larry, that is hard. I don't know about you or Craig, but usually by the time I'm being called in, there's already carnage. There's a reason why I'm called Mary Poppins. By the time I'm coming in, there is usually one or more messes to clean up. So I would have to say by the time I'm coming in, companies are not getting it right the first time. But you know what? I think I might have a story about that. Without naming names, I think I'll just say at my current job, I saw a project I thought was going in the wrong direction. I intervened. I suggested a different direction. Took a few weeks to get some people to buy in, but it sounds like they're curious about the direction I'm suggesting, and it sounds like we might go in that direction. So I actually think I have a story for you where I was just in time to save this thing from being not as strong as it could have been. So that's a to be continued. But yeah, usually by the time I'm coming in, there's a mess to clean up, and it's usually not, we're gonna get it right the first time. This story that at my current job might be the main one. What about you, Larry? What about you, Craig? I know there's about a minute delay today, so we're a little bit more asynchronous than usual. Oh, excuse me. It's just Shai says, love these stories. Yeah, so does Kayleen. I don't know if she's here, but yeah, Kayleen is like, oh my God, more stories. Larry says, pro flowers. Well, yes and no, Larry, because I know you invented something really special there, but then they also kind of got it wrong the first time, and you had to circle back and glue them back together. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's sort of that kind of story, but there's a little bit of not getting it right the first time in that story as well. Like you got it right the first time, but then the company released something other than what you recommended, and then you had to circle back and be like, "No, release the thing I recommended." So, yeah. Craig says, not all the clients fix all the bugs, but those that often did A/B tested impact. One bug cost 1.3 million a month, and they said, why did nobody tell us? Oh God. Oh, I love the we didn't know. We didn't know it was inaccessible, and now we're being sued for accessibility. We didn't know it wasn't working. We didn't know users weren't happy. You know, it's amazing. I see clients and companies getting 1-star app reviews with great frequency. And then they act like, what do you mean users aren't happy? You know, and someone will pull out some sort of survey or NPS or whatever and be like, see, you know, it's fine over here. And they have like sliced some weird sub-slice of data to try to make it look like things are not so bad. And I'm like, congratulations on your data manipulation, but let's go read some of these 1-star reviews or, you know, app ratings. Yeah, usually the signs are there. And usually, and it's funny, Craig's story is even funnier because usually the lost money is what triggers this stuff. But if they're losing the money and they still didn't wake up for that, that's extra special. Craig says, I replied, that's your job. The customer is not the canary in the coal mine of your user experience. Oh my God, that's got to be on a shirt. Somebody make that shirt. Right after you are not your user, we need the customer is not the canary in the coal mine of your user experience. I'm going to say that again in the future, and we're going to thank Craig Sullivan for it. I'm going to need a canary video. I did add a dinosaur video, but I do not have a canary video. Check out my awesome layering. Woohoo. The customer is not the canary in the coal mine of your user experience. Now I just want to sing the Police song, Canary in a Coal Mine. Oh. So much. Okay. I'm distracting myself. Wow. All right. So we can continue the discussion. It's been fantastic. We've got to get Craig on the show. And so, Craig, I'll bug you about that. We'll come up with a topic. Let's see. Friday, of course, is reaction stream, and people are already sending things in. If you would like to know how to send something for reaction stream, the link is at deltacx.com/links. Let's also remember to take a moment. Oh, hi, Tom. Good to see you too here. The gang is all here. It's like summer camp. Also, a quick thank you to everybody who is financially donating to the channel. This is the money I do keep, though last year I made $800. And so thanks to everybody for the fantastic Asiago cheese that I ate today. If you would like to donate to the channel, we've got super chats and super stickers on YouTube. We've got the tip jar, and we've also got memberships on YouTube. So thank you. Elliot says, I work in government where projects are often dictated by fiscal budgets, so something like lean is often pushed by PMs. Any recommendations or tips for a designer a designer of one to adapt or address this, or a video I should check out? Craig says, yeah, I have some fun bad stories. Yeah, if you can tell these stories publicly, I think a whole show on them would be great. We will just swap wacky stories. For Elliot, I think that, you have to define with that PM what they mean by lean. Are they asking you to do your worst work? If they're asking you to do your least work and your worst work, I would like that in the risk register, please. I would like the risk register to reflect that UX was asked to do the least possible work, even if it comes out bad. Someone should write that down. We should document that. Tom says, those projects that carry on regardless despite strong evidence that they're doomed, I call them zombie initiatives. Yeah, they're the undead and they will die again. So Elliot, I would say I would still push back on that. And I would say, look, you can only work as efficiently as you can work as a person of one. If you want this to happen more efficiently, you need to add more people. I've got episode 116 about that, where I talk about how I think really the optimum UX team is at least 5 people, 2 designers, 3 researchers. Then everybody will get what they need pretty much when they need it. But to ask a UX team of one, a jack of all unicorns, to have to do all the things, there's no way that's going to be agile. There's no way that's going to be either definition of lean. It's not going to be efficient. And that's not because you're not working hard enough or fast enough. It's because this is impossible. They're setting you up to fail by expecting you to do so much stuff in such little time. So I would be documenting that. Say, I would like to add to the risk register that we do not have we don't have enough people to move at the speed that this product manager or project manager wants to move. This creates risk for the project because we are going to cut corners that shouldn't be cut. Lean is supposed to be about trimming fat that we don't want, but when you're cutting corners where we needed corners, that now we've gone beyond lean. So somebody can throw around the word lean and agile all they want, but I would go back to them and say, if you expect this work out of me, here's the 2 months I need. And if they go, you can have 3 weeks, I go, great, hire more people, because this is a 2-month project. You hire another person, it's a 4-week project. I can't do this alone. And I think we just have to learn to say no to people. Not no in a bitchy, annoying, dicky kind of way, but more like what you're asking for ranges from unreasonable to unobtainable. It's not realistic. No can do. I recognize that you would like this done by March 1st. Well, then you should have told me that January 1st. Elliot says, I 100% agree. Thank you so much. I've been pushing for us to have more than one designer in the project. Uphill battle. Yeah, find the part in episode 116, and I've got chaptering in that video, which I often don't do, but that one does. And take a look at where I talk about building the UX team to fit into Agile and to have enough UX workers to have the speed and efficiency and talent that companies expect from us. Larry says, your design will always get usability tested. You can control the feedback before launching or just wait for users to complain about it after launching. Why leave it to chance? Yeah, Larry's got a few sayings like this. Your design will have a user experience, whether you designed it well or not. Michael says, lean's a very misunderstood word. Lean is also about exploiting the constraints so people are not overburdened. Interesting angle. That is an interesting angle. Yeah, I didn't cover that in my article, but that's a good one too. Yeah. Oh, what a great discussion we've had. Thanks to everybody for putting up with an asynchronous discussion. We were a little bit more laggy today with about 40 to 50 seconds between when I say something and when you see it. So thanks for that. And yeah, just remember we'll be back on Friday, and Tom is just all over yes to Craig. And Tom will be back in September. Tom can come back earlier if he'd like, but Tom and I have booked for September. I will bug Craig about booking, and Larry, we got to get you in. I think we said March 3rd for Larry, everybody. Larry's going to do a new micro lesson, and that's going to come in on March 3rd. So I gotta write that down. And Craig. Alrighty. Snappo. Larry says, I don't know Craig, so I would like to hear him speak. Me too. I am still getting to know Craig, but I've been enjoying some of his posts on LinkedIn, which is a good place to start to get to know him. Yeah, I would like to have him on and hear some of his approaches and his stories. So, all right, I think we can end a few minutes early. We don't have to go the full hour. I'm going to play us out of here. Oh, Craig says, I'm already doing a Google Doc. Fantastic. Preparation is awesome. Tony says, can you break down object-oriented UX next time? I'd love your thoughts. I don't need a whole show on that. Object-oriented UX is information architecture repackaged. Oh, where's my sound effect for that? Yep, you don't need OOUX. Please learn information architecture. Please read the Polar Bear book. Please practice information architecture. Please read Abby Covert's books. Do not need it repackaged and renamed. Quick thought there. Okay. Yeah, see everybody Friday and, of course, next week. Oh, and please remember that for Monday's Think Out Loud session, I don't have something to design yet. So if you'd like to see me design a real or fake project, send it over. deltacx.com/links has a link to submit something for the Think Out Loud series, and that'll be on Monday. Yasir says, good evening. Yasir, you're too late. We're ending the show. So Friday reaction stream, Monday Think Out Loud, Tuesday office hours, next Wednesday nothing. Yeah, so February's a little light in the show where, oh, thank you, Tony. That is very, very sweet. Thank you. I will buy delicious chocolate chips with it. As you all know, I do. Oh, S. White is here. Good evening. Ray Fox is sending hearts, and Tony is sending hearts. Thank you, everybody. I send you hearts back. Thank you so much, Tony. Very sweet. Alrighty, so let me play us out of here, and I will see everybody Friday for reaction stream, and we will get people scheduled for more shows. Tom Kerwin, if you would like to be on the show before September, let me know, and we'll schedule it. Otherwise, see you in September, as the song goes. Later, Craig. Catch you, everybody. Catch you Friday, and be safe. Bye. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are